And if we ask the stars what they mean, what would they say back to us? Welcome! You want to go on a card journey today? Give me some of your time, and I'll give you some of your story. Well, let's see what the cards say.
Hey there, Aquarius. Welcome to Coin Place Tarot. My name is Coin. I'm going to be your tarot card reader for today. As a set of quick announcements, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification button. That way when uploads are made, you can see what the stars are trying to say to you. Also, if interested, individual reads are back up and open. Either message or email me directly. Link is on main. We'll set that up, okay? So, Aquarius, the star people, what are we doing in this round of reads? This is going to be your ATC as things change read. Is at time of recording being made at the end of May going into June. So let this be your as things change for that transitional time period. As things change, as I define it in a read, we have all the fives spread out across the board. Instead of looking at, what are hopes, fears, etc., we dive right into conflict. Starting with the fives, they're all cards of conflict. If interested, looking at the Learn With Me series, they talk about how each of the cards, what they mean, and how they're represented within the tarot card deck. But in terms of water, earth, fire, and air, where does conflict show itself? Because that's where change truly begins. Whether that be the emotional sadness or regret we may be feeling about some things, the idea of being left behind, with the Five of Cups going to the Five of Pentacles, the Five of Wands now being, okay, direct conflict engagement, why these energies are there, and then the Five of Swords, the internal monologue and sometimes the self-sabotage that we have from within, right? With all that being said, water, earth, fire, and air, take what resonates, leave what doesn't, but don't always be so willing to reverse. At times, it gets difficult, Aquarius. Understand that I, as your tarot card reader, I'm not here to misguide you or mislead you. Trust me, I got 12 signs to do and none of the time to spare for that. Instead, we will lay our cards out on the table. And good or bad, come rain or sunshine, we're going to talk about it. Because at the end of the day, tarot is a conversation, just an energetic one, okay? So follow along with me in your read today, Aquarius, your As Things Change read for the transitional period. And yeah, let's see what the cards say. We're going to start over here with your Five of Cups. Show us the cards that we need to see, please. That was quick. Why okay. Three of Pentacles. Workable dynamics, or do we have the basis of a collaborative relationship here? Okay. Why is that underneath the Five of Cups, though? That doesn't make much sense. Show us the cards that we need to see, please, for Aquarius in this read. Why are we lamenting something that should be a much easier dynamic between us and another? Six of Swords. Okay, having to move on. In what way? Queen of Swords. Do we want things to work out better between ourselves and another person? Absolutely. Why is all this underneath the Five of Cups? This idea of this should be a workable dynamic, but I've come to the cold-hearted conclusion that I need to get the hell away from here. All that underneath the Five of Cups, I just wish things could have been better. Aquarius, you're lamenting something that's falling apart right now, right? The collaboration, the cooperation, all that should be there, the base elements of a functional relationship. And yet I see none of it, right? And the cold-hearted intellect you have to have in this situation is, nah, right? That was a very simple solution to what has become a more complex and necessary problem. Now, why it's causing this much pain, even though we factually, wrapped our head around it, doesn't mean emotionally we're at that same page yet, right? And that's the part I'm more curious about. Next, show us the cards that we need to see, please, upon the Five of Pentacles in this read. What are the cards that we need to see? Ooh, almost, but it didn't hit the table, so I can't take it, okay? You already saw how your first card flew out. That's how it needs to be. What do we need to see, please, for Aquarius in their ATC read as things change? Show us cards we need to see, please, for Aquarius in this read. Makes sense. Now, another three coming out underneath the five, this one being the Three of Swords. brokenheartedness and the sharp pain of remorse. So it wasn't just emotional drowning out. It's at a fundamental level something that's being gutted and ripped out from our dynamic with another. Ten of Pentacles, everything that we built now seeming to crumble or fall to the wayside. Queen of Pentacles, I actually liked it here and wanted to see more of it. Okay, so I don't want to automatically assume there's going to be a breakup read, Aquarius. Please don't take it that as such, but I will call spade a spade here. A relationship that was once a much stronger bond, I'm talking about months, years, total experiences shared with another person, is someone who you consider a close confidant, best friend, and maybe potentially even a lover, who knows. But there is so much time built into the foundation of this that is being totally and utterly obliterated right now. The easiest way I can put it. And I don't know what caused the rift in your relationship with them, Aquarius, but I can say that while you have come to the conclusion, no, I need to leave this behind. That is what's best for me, even when it hurts. It doesn't change how much it hurts, right? And so is our impetus to act the idea that we don't want to be the one who gets abandoned? Or is it purely coming from the place of, I appreciate what was had, but this cannot go any further? Those are coming from two different places, but right now we're really forced to question, why, how did we even get here? And that's between you and this person, Aquarius. Next to the Five of Wands, show us cards we need to see, please. What defines deeper the Five of Wands, the notion of blatant energetic conflict, and what is it trying to teach us? Show us cards we need to see, please. Find that Five of Wands in Aquarius. As things change, what is shown? Page of Wands. Okay. If this is the right thing, we're trying to have some type of level of upside to the anger. Three of Cups. Okay, why the Three of Cups? The Emperor, card of Aries. Oh. I don't know if you're getting involved with the Aries, Aquarius, but the point still stands. This energetic conflict that is now happening in this long-standing relational dynamic, part of you knows that whoever this person is to you, you've probably been drifting away from them for a while, but nobody said the uncomfortable part out loud. Now, the reason that this is happening is to basically spark that push away, that energetic disengagement and disentangling from one another. The Three of Cups. Let's say hypothetically this was a more intimate or lover person to you, Aquarius. Three of Cups, that questions who is the third cup at this table. I don't know if there's been emotional infidelity, etc. That's not what I'm trying to say. What I am saying is your heart is becoming more open and making the active choice to become more open in either entertaining other people at the table or trying to reunite with somebody that is not this person, right? So I'm seeing two separate people on the board. First is somebody that's like, dang, I can't believe we're here. However, it doesn't change where we are. And the second is a notion of a reunion with somebody that is not this person. And that's why I'm more prone to saying, okay, maybe this is more of an intimate partner, lover type of read. But regardless, it still stands. All the conflict that's coming up right now is only pushing you further towards this direction. Okay. Last, upon the Five of Swords, your home element of air. Show Aquarius the cards that you need to see, please. In this ATC read. Why the Five of Swords? What about the stuff that eats at us? Sometimes we feel that we just do it wrong. Show us cards that you need to see, please. Upon the Five of Swords for Aquarius read. High Priestess. Okay, so how do we trust our feelings properly over, cold-hearted calculation? Ten of Cups. And maybe that was the hardest part to say, alongside the moon, the card of Pisces, yeah. Why am I saying that harmony is the hardest part, Aquarius? Part of you knows that with everything breaking apart, as it is currently happening. This is an ongoing thing between you and this person, whoever was originally identified here. Part of you is coming to the cold acceptance that maybe this is probably where we were always going to end up, given just how badly things are falling apart between you and I. And part of me emotionally may know that, even though it doesn't want to accept that, right? So the moon here, I'm not talking about intentional deception here or intentional BS. What I am saying in your read, Aquarius, is that there are some things that we haven't even begun to emotionally unearth or dig up yet. And therefore, even to us, it can be unknown, or at least left in the unsaid, right? Underneath it all, death, card of Scorpio. Put a stamp on it, the forced ending of a cycle. Where are we going, and who are we left to be in the aftermath? Okay, got it. Can I get a card underneath every one of the base fives? The 5 of water, 5 of earth, 5 of fire, and 5 of air. Defined by the cups, pentacles, wands, and swords. There goes the first. The wheel of fortune, and that's coming underneath your 5 of cups, Aquarius. That wheel of fortune, yeah. We're finally being put into activation around an issue that has been long-standing, that is slowly but surely deteriorating. Part of us knows that we gotta move on. The other part of us just emotionally is not ready because of just how deeply this is impacting you. However, the hope here, the wheel of fortune, that time be our friend and everything work out in his favor, that's not in the sense of can we mend or fix this. I think part of you accepts the permanent brokenness of where you and this person stand, but rather when we move forward and move on properly, maybe we stop delaying the inevitable. And what does that mean when we're that level of honest, not only to ourselves, but with each other? Next, underneath 5 of Pentacles, can I get another one that flies out? Almost. What are cards we need to see, please, underneath every 5 in this read? Yeah. Although there's so much time in, just everything of solid foundation here that was originally built with purpose, freedom is strange when we didn't want to be free. The fact that the Knight of Wands is coming underneath that 5 of Pentacles, well, if I am this now, single, or at the very least alone, and not having to deal with you anymore, who am I left to be? And what do we do with that? Fair enough. Underneath the 5 of Wands, King of Wands. And so emotionally, after you intellectually accepted this, emotionally, part of you knows putting yourself back out there, maybe entertaining whatever this third person or this outside party influence cup is, could give you some insights as to what not only your purpose is and how you got here with this original connection, but also where you're being led to and where you want to go. Last, underneath 5 of Swords, the Tower. Yeah. Part of you always knew that this eventually was going to fall apart in some way, shape, or form. The Tower is ultimately designed in our best interest, even though it never feels like that, right? The Tower is almost like kicking and screaming on the way of, take your medicine, eat your vegetables, things like that. But when it comes to this tower in particular for your situation, Aquarius, yeah, this is going to eventually break apart. And who are we after, the dust settles? That's the bigger and better question here. Because right now, you're emotionally catching up to an ending underneath it all. 10 of Wands. Now, the burden of the weight of it all still ends the result in death. The culmination of everything, that doesn't change. None of that has functionally changed throughout this read for you. However, when we sit with the gravity of all that is just been building out so far between you and this identified party, what else was there going to be? I don't want you to be mad at it. I want you to try to understand that, hey, I saw the signs. We tried to work for better. Then when we started to deteriorate, I can't pretend I didn't see the signs to begin with. Okay? Last, As we move towards resolution, first define the major arcana strewn across the table in this read for Aquarius. We will first look at the Emperor, the card of Aries. Why? What do we gain from making a decision and standing on business? Show us cards when you see, please. Define the Emperor in this read. Okay, Page of Wands. Base level of optimism. Here, not simply a reunion between you and said party. I think that's kind of completely off the table right now. But rather that putting myself back out there, reminding myself, hey, there are other people, other situations, other places that value me, could be the best thing that I got going for me right now. To the High Priestess, Ace of Swords. Yeah, my intuition was right. Not me as your reader, but me in your voice, Aquarius. Part of you knew that this was going to end. You saw the signs. It was a long time building. However, maybe there's a beauty in understanding that, not trying to, doing intellectual hurdles to just get to the point, but rather saying, if I can emotionally come to a state of solace and my brain has already wrapped around the solution of leaving, I'm that much closer to making that the final stamp. To the Moon, things that we don't understand, Queen of Swords, that we understood more than we ever wanted to bargain for. This was reaching an ending point. Had to, some way, shape, or form. To the Wheel of Fortune, Six of Pentacles, and may the everyday investments prove themselves to be worthy in some way, shape, or form. Here, if we saw the signs a long time ago that this wasn't going to work, then let it break apart equitably. Best way it can go. And to the Tower, walking away, the Eight of Cups. Whatever this relational dynamic is to you, Aquarius, it's reaching its pinnacle, or it's on its last leg, its last stand of what it means to you in your life. Pretty much, you and this person, y'all are going separate ways. The resolution, Nine of Swords, anxiety, nightmares, fears, everything that drives us, which is actually meant to teach us. And Two of Swords, confusion. It doesn't get any easier the more that we try to think about it. But we're not trying to outwit it. We're just trying to be. Underneath it all, Ten of Pentacles. Of everything that was built, how did we get here? Emotionally, we saw the signs. We can't, in reflection, we can't deny what we saw or felt. However, it doesn't make this any less real for you, Aquarius. So I think when we say duality of both and, the idea that, yes, we are getting out of each other's lives at an expeditious rate, it's falling apart, it's disintegrating, and understanding that I probably wanted more from this, but the best I could do right now is live by disagreement and go my separate ways. That also means I gotta be out there, put myself out there towards new experiences, opportunities, and people, even different intimate partners if that's what it takes. But I can't stop going. That's just where it is. So that's what I got in your read today, Aquarius. I hope this conversation helped. And yeah, does it give you any more peace, at least in the current moment? No. But when the heart does eventually catch up to the head and we're able to make these decisions in comfort, knowing that, hey, this was the best we could have done, to a situation where we acknowledge probably cannot be repaired, we're that much closer to A, being free from it, but B, pursuing the life that's calling us. I'll see you around, okay? Take care.